All right, welcome back. It's time for us to get into a personality interview. And today, the person we are speaking to is larger than life. Look, Kokwe, I think you should take over and continue the introduction because this one.
In fact, she is GH Media and GH Media is she.
Yeah.
That's how we have. That's what we have to say. Anita Erskine is gracing our set today for the very first time. The boss lady herself, the one and only Anita Erskine.
Yeah.
Here she is.
Gosh, you guys
live and in color.
Right.
Please don't bring your Dede acting. Please, this is not for Dede. Please, your scheming Mrs. Robinson character. Please,
Kokwe, you are bad. You're
Anita,
bad. Yes, my love.
Welcome. Great to see you. I haven't seen you in ages. I don't know why.
We're in
just
the
here
same
with you.
city,
We're in the same everything.
But it's the way our world has become, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, everything is so removed from each other.
It's a small space, but it's a big space with everybody doing,
so many things.
Consuming.
Trying to survive, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Or surviving, not trying.
But you are thriving, and we'll get into that in a bit. But today's all about you. We want to find out everything about Anita Erskine and talk about all that you're doing right now. And you've done so much. So let's start from the beginning.
Right.
You are the last born of how many?
8.
Whoa. Okay, I didn't know that.
You have 7 siblings.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have 7 siblings.
Okay, talk to us. So born in Accra or born?
No, I was born in Jerusalem. Lived.
Jerusalem.
Oh gosh, Kokwe, are you really
Let's
going to do
there.
this to
now,
me?
Your father was a military man. General Erskine, may he rest. So you went around a bit, or they went. Your family?
Actually, no. I mean, I would say that my majority of the family, myself and my siblings, spent a great deal of time in Ghana.
Okay.
And my parents, well, my father primarily, did the traveling. So Ghana is home. Ghana is the seed. Ghana is where, the personality was harvested. I only moved away, for university.
Okay.
But other than that, from birth to when I moved away, Ghana was
so
Ghana
how
was
come
the
you're
base.
born in Jerusalem? Tell us about
Because and I love my mother to bits. My father was working in the Middle East at the time.
Okay.
With the United Nations, and I think my mother thought that I was going to become maybe the first female pope. I don't know.
She wanted to be a man. Yes, because she's very
no. But I think beyond that. I mean, gosh. I mean, if you had to have a child in Jerusalem and your husband, I mean, it makes sense. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal because you've got the opportunity. It's there. Why not? So. Yes, Jerusalem,
Jerusalem. That's awesome. Okay, so you came back to Ghana, you were a baby, I suppose.
Of course. I mean, I grew up in Ghana. Went to Christ the King School, then went to Ghana International. So grew up in Ghana. I mean, it's nowhere else but Ghana.
What was life like growing up with 7 others?
You have to remember that my eldest sibling is 20 years my senior.
Okay.
So, which means that by the time I was born,
they were adults.
They were young adults.
Yeah.
Some of them were in boarding school, some of them were in university. So I grew up literally by myself.
Wow.
Literally by myself. My 2 sisters, Catherine and Caroline, my 2 brothers, Edward and Joshua, were here. But then again, in those kind of like early to mid-teenage years, they had all gone to boarding school. They are, so I literally grew up with the 2 super adults, my father and my mother.
Your parents.
You know what I mean? So I guess that's where the Impengisem comes from.
So a little buddy told me that when you were in Christ the King, you were really, really active in church. And someone told me the other day, oh my God, Anita Erskine would come to church and sing, and she would lead this and lead that, and the children's, like you were the star of Christ the King.
My parents, you know what I mean? It's not, you're not a star because, you want to be a star, but because they kind of teach you how to lead. Yes, you're already, from a young age, you're being groomed to lead. You're being groomed to think. On the spot, think like an adult, find solutions like an adult. There's no time to be a baby. There's no time to cry because the people you are primarily with all the time are adults.
Yes, and they've had years of experience, mind you, in grooming others.
By the way,
So
you
you're
know,
the
by the
last.
time you don't even think that these tricks you're playing will
We've
have
seen
any
all of
effect.
it.
Oh, we've seen it all, you know.
all,
So
done it all.
that's pretty much where it comes from.
Yeah. Okay. So Christ the King, you do all of that. Where did the transition from Christ the King to GIS come from?
It came when I wanted to go to Holy Child.
My school.
Yes, your school
I know your
rejected
sisters
me.
went there. Oh,
I'm just gonna say this.
oh, how? I don't believe this.
no, but
A
not,
whole
but
I
not,
need to
in, not,
know.
in a, not in not in a. My sister went to Holy
Yeah, I
Child.
know, yeah.
My two elder sisters went to
Went to
Holy
Holy
Child, but I
Child.
was too young at the time, you know. So there was I had two options.
Yes.
The school system in Ghana was changing.
That's right,
You
at
know,
that
there was a transition happening. So. You know, my parents thought, oh, okay. I mean, I really wanted to go to either St. Rose's or Holy Child, but I was too young to go to Form 1. And so the opportunity came through GIS, because then I would go to class 7 before Form 1, because I needed that 1 year.
Yes.
But by the time I finished class 7, my parents were happy with me being in GIS. So, you know, so I stayed.
Just stay.
You know, for the rest of my, you know, for my high school
I
experience.
like it when I hear you say class 7, because I feel like I'm in good company, right? I'm like,
Did you go to class 7?
yeah.
I know now.
When I say class 7, everyone's
everybody's
like, who is this stranger? Like from
which
Mars.
world?
Yeah, I know, right?
Class 7.
When you say Form 1, they're like,
Yeah, it's like, from what?
because it's JHS
Yeah, I know.
1,
Yes.
SHS, the
Yes.
Form 1, like 8.
It's like,
Yes.
what is that?
Wow.
I know. And back then it was SSS,
Yeah,
JSS.
exactly.
Everything has
I mean, my
changed,
kids
I
are
know.
like, hey, mommy, how was it was in the olden
In
days?
the old-
Yeah,
you know.
no, which only
And then there are people who talk about middle school, and we're like,
yeah, I know, right? It's like,
which one
what's
is
Yeah.
that
Which
one?
one is that one?
Where did that come from?
Standard 1, standard 2.
You know?
Different era, please.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah,
Okay. All right. Have you always been a performer? Have you always had that bug for the arts, media, public speaking, singing? Has that always been there, or how did that develop?
Yes, it's always been there because, you know, if I can be fair, in primary school, Christ the King, you had so many options. It was cultural dancing, it was the school choir that would also perform, not just for the school, but also for the church. It was a lot of poetry, it was a lot of writing, it was a lot of reading. Even at assembly, there was a lot of performance that would happen at assembly. You would sing the national anthem and you would, you know, read the announcements for the day. So, you know, we don't think about these things, but, you know, all of that, you know, your talent, if it is there in the way you want it to be, is being honed. You know, we never really cast our mind back and think, how did I become like this?
Yeah.
And so I went through the same system everybody goes through. But admittedly, there is a certain interest. So if it's a school choir and you're part of the school choir, the option is to really be extra or just be part of the school choir. You know,
you
extra
were-
like Koki when she...
Extra like,
So I have to say, you know, then I had Auntie Baba, my cultural dancing teacher or my dancing teacher, who would really excite us, you know, because you had after school activities and you could choose sewing, knitting, catering, all these. Yes, I'm telling you, it used to be so exciting. So wherever I found, you know, my interest is what I tapped into. And there were so many opportunities to be on stage. School play, Easter play, Christmas play. So in those moments, even though at that time I didn't realize it, now I'm looking back and I'm like,
that was the basis.
those were the moments that really cultivated what it is that I am doing now.
Yeah.
I know.
I want to try and dovetail into something from what you just said. Sewing, knitting, all those things.
Yeah.
What's wrong with our education system that in the same country, international schools seem to have these extracurricular things that tap into all kinds of creative talents that kids will have, and yet our schools that are not international schools don't have much of that?
If I may, I would say the end product of someone being a wonderful knitter or a fantastic seamstress or a wonderful caterer does not equate to someone having a university degree in Ghana. That's where it is. How your parents talk to you about your passion for cooking. Because, by the way, it's a hobby. It's not. It's not something
career.
that. I mean, for us,
Yeah.
you know. So when we go to school, Yeah. And it's not just about the school. The school can give you whatever they can. That is it. School gives you whatever they can.
Yeah.
Your headmistress, they give you whatever you can. But when you leave school, you do go home. So it takes the person at that part, at that side, the home side, to say, what did you make today? Wow.
Yeah.
You know you can do something with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just about the educational structure
Okay.
or the school structure. Because at GIS, we were dancing. We were doing cultural dancing. We had a school choir. It was the same thing. At Christ the King was the same thing. I dare say Holy Child,
Okay.
St. Rose's, St. Augustine's,
Okay.
whatever it is.
Okay.
It's the same thing that is being offered.
Okay.
The difference, in my humble opinion, is how does the community around you, the society around you, see what it is you do?
You do,
And do
okay.
they breathe hope into you to make you feel that, you know, if I just kind of maybe pay attention to this talent or
Yeah.
this interest a little
It could
bit more,
become
it
something.
could become something. So if you go back home and you're made to feel like that is just, these are
It's
extracurricular,
games, it's
you know,
not-
I'm going to
yeah.
a casino.
Yeah.
Then ultimately you grow up thinking, oh, I just did those things.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see, at GIS, however, and I have to say, kudos to Christ the King as well, because the Christ the King choir, we performed in church in front of adults. And the adults will say, you have a fantastic voice.
Okay.
You have a good voice.
Okay.
Don't forget that. Always use it. GIS, the same thing.
Okay.
You would perform. And then so I feel that if at our age, and the same thing is happening to us as we have children. Our children go to school, regardless of what school they go to.
Okay.
Because activities still continue. I don't know what it's like in public schools per se, but these activities still do continue. But when you come home, the adults you're meeting is either going to scold you because you spent too much time
Yeah.
drumming and dancing, or
Yeah.
they're going to say, what did
Well,
you learn in drumming
yeah.
and dancing today?
Yeah.
So is it something you would like to do? And you can say, oh, no, mommy, daddy, I'm just doing it for now.
Yeah.
So, our adults, us, have to allow children to explore
Yeah.
within reason.
Yeah.
I
Obviously.
agree.
So I would say that's probably
That's where it's at.
That's where
Okay,
it's at.
okay.
School can only give you so much.
Yeah.
But family and the adults or the community that you go away to when you get home can help you to see the opportunities,
Yeah.
or sway you away from the opportunities because they want you to have, I don't know,
Okay.
a university degree, so to speak. But a university degree, of course, you can get a degree in the arts, but you know what I mean. Ultimately,
those traditional
shirt and tie,
professions,
Yeah.
the doctor,
doctor,
lawyer,
whatever it is.
engineer,
So yeah, in my case, my parents were always so excited when I got
Wow.
on stage. Yes. Nothing I do is by chance. No, it's the home that I'm blessed to be.
Yeah.
Blessed to be, or blessed to have grown up in.
Yeah.
Was a space of nurturing. You see, yes, do get good grades, but better to you, better so, better, And as a matter of fact, I remember getting in trouble often with my father because I wouldn't go back to church to perform.
Wow.
Yes, you are expected, the choir is performing, you are singing a solo,
Yeah.
and then baby.
Yeah.
He didn't like that thing at all
Okay.
because as far as he was concerned, you have a talent, you have a
have to
gift,
use it.
Use it.
explore it because
Yeah.
you're
Love
good
that.
at it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Wow.
Okay, now talk to us about your foray to Canada.
Yes.
And Anita is bilingual, for those who don't know.
Yes.
Speaks beautiful French as well as
Oui, oui.
impeccable English. So,
Absolument.
yeah, talk to us about that, your trip, your journey to Canada for
Yeah.
your tertiary education.
Yes, Canada has become my second home. I had an option, blessed to have had an option, to pursue my further education in Ghana or to go away. In fact, my parents were adamant that I go to Legon. My older siblings, some of them had gone to Legon. Legon is a fantastic university. And my parents are also the kind, they believe in Ghana, and they believe that everything good
Yeah.
comes from Ghana. Yes, indeed. But I guess I felt at that time that I can't put the words to it, but I do know that there was something growing in me, and that thing wanted to see what the world had to offer.
Okay.
Though I'm saying it now as a mature person, but as a young teenager finishing my A-levels, that's not the language that I knew to use.
Okay.
All I knew was, or all I wanted to do was to travel. Now I look back and I realize that yearning was to see what the world had to offer. And I just happened to choose Canada first. My elder brother was living there at the time.
Okay.
He loved it. I hadn't heard a lot of people going to Canada at the time, but I thought, hey, why not?
Why
I didn't
not?
want to go to the US. I didn't want to go to the United Kingdom. I didn't want to go to Europe.
What was putting you off about those places?
I wanted to go where nobody was going, per se.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. I'm just like that.
Yeah.
You know, I like to go to places
If
where...
they're all going here, then let me find
I
somewhere
go
else.
the opposite
Yeah.
direction.
Okay.
I don't know, it was just me. And never regretted it. I love Canada.
What was that like, transitioning from our Ghanaian setting?
Yeah.
Was it much of a cultural shock for you, or not really? And you had a brother there as well, you know, to watch over you, I suppose. But talk to us about your first few, maybe weeks, months
Yeah.
on Canadian soil.
Blessed to have been in the midst of fellow Africans. Kenyans, Ethiopians, South Africans, Zimbabweans, Egyptians, and blessed to have been in a melting pot of culture and tradition. That is where my
which part of
passion.
Canada as well?
So I went straight to Ontario, I went straight to Toronto, and then to Peterborough, where I went to Trent University. But it was all these different Africans that I didn't know a thing about the continent. Nothing. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
You
Like,
think Africa is Ghana?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Africa is 54 countries.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those few days, first few weeks you're talking about was hearing some similarities,
Yeah.
appreciating some differences, and then suddenly being excited that, hey, then I have to travel. I have to travel
Yeah.
and see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at no point in time was there a culture shock. Yes, of course, it was cold. But it's, you know, you're free. It's exciting. Like, hey, snow. Hey, wow.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting on the bus by yourself. You're getting on the train by yourself. You make mistakes. You learn. You don't have your parents to scold you. So
Yeah.
that
You
will let you
know,
do
a lot of
things, you know.
independence and
A lot
figuring
of
life out,
independence.
Yeah.
you know, on
But
your
I
own
did
terms.
it with fellow Africans.
Yeah.
You know, I did it with so many different kinds of people. Some had been there before me, some had just come at the same time. They would hold my hand, you know, where to shop for X, Y, and Z, what not to go, what kind of guy not to date.
What's with the look?
What kind of nightclub not to go to. But yes, it wasn't, I'm fortunately or unfortunately, I don't have stories of being distraught. Yes, alone, but never lonely.
Okay.
You know, because you are used to home and you've gone to a place where now you have your own apartment, you've got your roommates, you've got X, Y, and Z. So those few weeks were so pleasant. And that's why I fell in love with Canada, because then the stories I was hearing from my colleagues and my friends in other parts wasn't really the same. You know, I was saying, well, then again, maybe on an individual basis, but for me, I was like, I'm having fun.
A good time
Yeah.
over here.
I'm chilling,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that's what those first few moments were
Well,
like.
what did you study there?
So I studied cultural studies. Trent University didn't have a blatant or an obvious journalism course.
Okay.
It didn't have an obvious communications course. The closest I could find was cultural studies. And Peterborough is a little tiny town. And I love I didn't like Toronto. I'm not crazy about Toronto, New York, etc. Because I feel that, hey, I get lost.
it's a
Hey,
lot.
where am I? You know, but Peterborough is nice, cool. You know everybody. I mean, when you see a fellow black person, you know who that person is. You know, if he's mid-height and he's, you know, they know it's David. You know, hey, that's David. You know, and that's what the town was like. So yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Cultural. Okay, so
Cultural studies, yeah.
When did you decide, after getting your uni degree, you decide, okay, I'm going to be a returnee, I'm coming back home?
Didn't decide that.
What happened?
Komla Duma of blessed memory.
Yes.
What happened?
I came on vacation one time and he had come to interview my father.
Okay.
And I remember this distinctly. On his way out of the living room, I came from my bedroom and I had never met Komla in person. So by this time, I'm like,
What year was this?
This was in 2001?
Okay.
2000, 2001.
Early 2000s, you're like,
You know,
okay.
because I knew, but I thought it was a phone interview. But I mean, this tall, big
you're
person. Like,
starstruck. I know.
wow. That's Komla Duma.
This rich voice.
So, you know, what do you do? Told him what you know, what are you trying to do with that? He's like, I'm not really sure. He's like, well, you know, when you're done, come back home. I'm like, come back home. For what? You know, and he's like, listen, there is a revolution. You know, there is a change. There's an evolution happening.
Yeah.
If you stay away too long, you will not, it's a fantastic whirlwind.
it.
You will miss it. And if you miss it, you can't be part of the conversation. You've got to struggle to be part of the conversation. So when you finish university, you get 1 or 2 years of work experience, come back home.
Okay.
He inspired, the thought of, okay, and then again, African storytelling is, with all due respect, like no other. And I didn't want to be, and this is personal to me, it's not a blanket solution for everybody who wants to return home, no. But I'm a storyteller. The origin of my ability to tell stories is in the very foundation of my continent. So when he said, come back home, and he explained it even further. I mean, we spent about an hour after his interview with my dad talking about what Africa, not even Ghana only, but what Africa has to offer to a young mind, to a brave mind, to a bold heart. And that was really, so it then became part of my 10-year plan. I thought even at that time that I would stay in Canada a bit longer, but then my father started to get ill. And I was like, really want to be around. My parents are older. At the time, wasn't married, didn't have children. And I thought, stayed in Canada a little bit longer, had my kids, and I thought, okay, it is time to go home and do some of what Komla had recommended.
Okay, and then you moved back to
then
Ghana. Take Ghana by storm. Okay, your first job when you moved back home?
My first job was with Originate.
Aha.
Yes, Joel Nete. Love that man to bits. I remember having an interview with at the time, I had a phone interview with the late Daniel Chum, who was Joel Nete's business partner, who was a CEO of Originate, and Joel was a COO. And we had a fantastic conversation on the phone. I mean, he called all the way from Ghana, because I had applied on their website, what do you do? What do you want to do? Yeah. So Daniel says, listen, when next are you home? Told him, when you come back, come and see me. He passed away maybe about a month after that conversation, or maybe even weeks after that conversation. Wow. But Joel literally, after the whole, we never really forget these things, but Joel then kind of picked up the conversation, and I thank him for it because he didn't have to. He did not have to. So he said, listen, come. And let's literally stuck to his promise. Came back to Ghana. I remember, grabbing the trotro from, from Airport Residential bus stop. Yeah. Just up the road, brought me to Adabraka. Had a conversation with Joel. Looked at me like this. Erskine, Escado. And I'm like, Anita Erskine, Escado. Chale.
Gave you a nickname.
Oh, no, but that's my brother's. That's Escado,
That's his name.
Said,
okay.
I said, hi, I'm Anita Erskine. Escado. And I'm like, Anita Erskine, Escado. He said what? He said it. It was fantastic. That's my first job.
Wow.
Originate. Lovely opportunity.
Advertising agency.
Listen, it threw me right in the deep end of communications. And what does it look like? What are people spending? Yeah. What's the language they want to hear? Yeah. How do you how do you communicate from the top right down to the bottom? How do you appeal to the grassroots? Yeah. And at the same time flip it and appeal to the other audiences? Yeah. It was and has always been one of my most pivotal moments coming back to Ghana.
I'm sure that gave you such a great foundation for media. What you ended up doing. Yeah.
The first time I met you was in Labadi.
What were we doing
on a rooftop, and we're shooting. There was something you were shooting for.
Wasn't it a commercial?
DSTV.
Exactly. No, that was Studio 53,
it was Studio 53,
right?
Exactly.
That was absolutely the first time I met her as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I remember now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was doing.
You were the
I was doing photos.
photographer. No.
Yes, thank you. I like
wait, tell the story. Tell the story.
I like the description.
Okay. Tell the story. Yes.
Hi. Good morning. Just gotta put my equipment over here and just gotta. Like, hi, my name is Anita Erskine. Yeah. Just need to check if I'm like, who the hell is this guy?
That was Kweku D.
That was him.
Are you serious?
No, I like the description.
But let me tell you something. The word too known with him equates to excellent. Excellent photographer. So I'm like, so when I tell you, I'm like,
that's what you were like.
now I get it. Then we became
So
friends.
he took photos of you.
Well, he took photos of some models,
of the
you know,
models
of
that
the
we had
models.
on
Yeah.
the-
So
she
I was
was
just
doing
doing the story
she was
for
doing
Studio
Okay,
53 at the
okay.
time.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
so after that, I
Yeah.
mean, after that
Yeah.
moment of, you know, hey, me too, I'm somebody. Yeah, me too, I'm somebody. You know, we became friends.
No,
That's amazing.
so let me tell you, the truth of the matter is that I was in awe of her, and I had never met her before. But I don't play with my work,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
You know, and when I'm on set,
Yeah.
for me, I've been brought here for a reason.
Yeah. And
I
he is
have
punctual.
to deliver. You know,
who's
it's
this guy?
so critical
Yeah.
to me. So yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it
I
comes off
appreciate
as
it.
snobbish and
No,
all
but
that.
it
But
sh-
yeah,
it
you know.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate
It's
the fact
work
that
mode.
you
I call it
yes,
work
and
mode.
you talk the talk and walk the walk. Now, if you had been this very, you know, blunt and curt person, and your photos were horrible, all it's over what, you know, but the photos equated his personality, and I thought, I need to learn one or two things on quick with each other. Yeah.
And here we are. Okay, so my Studio 53 experience with you, do you remember? It was at Bellaroma in Osu.
And it was,
It was also an interview, and
Yeah.
I was also quite fresh
yeah,
back in
with
Ghana
big afro.
at the time. Did I have my afro?
Yes,
then?
you did. She had an afro, and let me tell you,
Okay.
she wasn't married to her husband then,
Okay.
but he was like really present. I'm like,
Yeah,
is that her manager or what?
He was there.
He wanted certain things for Koki. Now her husband, I knew from
Yeah.
Christ the King.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I didn't know him close, but I knew. I mean, my
Yeah.
brothers knew, whatever it is. But he wanted things done for, you know. Do you want water? And I'm like, not me. Asking me, do
Yeah.
you want water? Do you want this and whatever it is? So, about what time are we starting? I'm like, hey, bro. Ale, they haven't even married me yet. But at the time, I didn't even know the relationship they had.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
but
true.
but
You're
that
right.
was the
He was
first
there.
time he was
First time.
present.
And you talked to me about being an opera singer
Yeah.
coming back home.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was back when I was just singing.
Just singing.
I hadn't even
yeah.
thought of entering
it's
media.
crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy.
Amazing.
It's so weird. Like
When you talk, you realize, wow, these are
Yeah.
the things that have happened.
Yeah.
This is how far we've come.
Yeah.
Thank God for
so
it.
far. I was so shy back then, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
I
in
was
some
so
corner,
reserved,
sitting in
and,
some
you
bar,
know,
on some bar stool somewhere, and very polite young lady. So
I was
I mean,
like,
her
what's up with-
boyfriend at the time now was the one who was, you know, what time are we starting? I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, bro, now you're able to
Relax.
Can you
oh,
imagine?
today.
you know, but it was fantastic. That's
Yeah,
the
it
first
was.
time I met
That's
you.
the first
and then
time I
after
met
that,
you.
the Christmas party.
Christmas.
Was Christmas before then?
It was Christmas. It was Christmas.
It was Christmas before, and then I booked you for the interview.
No, it was. Was it?
Yes,
You're
it was.
right, you're
I
right.
had bumped into you at the Christmas
At the
party.
Christmas party,
and then I interviewed you. Yeah.
Yeah. So much.
And you're
happened
doing
in that,
something with
that
Hugh.
few
I
months.
mean, this young lady, nobody knows. She's doing this big project with Hugh
Yeah.
Masakela, and I'm like, hey.
Charlie. Those
Anyway,
days,
you know. But
Then,
yeah.
should I tell you one more thing? That
Tell me.
so, and I know Sabens is watching and listening, and Bernard is
Yeah.
too. Anita was the one who poached me from here to Viasat.
Oh.
Yes.
Where's Samens?
Simon, oh,
He's
So-
not on the cover.
He's
Where's
around.
Bernard?
He's
Because I know they
around.
have people.
No,
They have-
no,
yeah,
he's
oh,
around.
this one you see it. And you know what? It
Yeah.
actually happened.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the radio studio
Yeah.
on City Breakfast Show
Yeah.
when you called me that morning. Let me talk. I was literally on air with Bernard, right?
Why do this on
I see
Saturday?
Anita calling me, and I'm like, why is Anita calling me? Like I was so confused. Because prior to that, I think
Yeah.
I had done an interview. That was when you were producing the One Show,
Exactly.
at Viasat.
Exactly.
And I did an interview
Oh,
with Jocelyn on the
wow.
One Show.
Exactly.
And Anita's the
Wow.
producer. She's
This
running
girl.
things, and that was back when Viasat had money.
Yeah.
So, Charlie, when Anita was head of production at Viasat, I said,
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, but it's
those
true.
days.
Yeah.
So
You know,
I'm
things
sitting
had
on
to
the radio
happen.
studio, Bernard and I are doing City Breakfast Show, you know, and we're having a good vibe. We just started, we're a couple months in, and we're loving what we're doing. I see Anita Erskine calling me, like, why is Anita calling me? So I waited, you know, after the show, I came to stand where, in fact, here, where this building is now, was a parking lot. So I came to stand out here, I called her back. So Anita, I missed your call. What's going on? Quickly, we're starting a morning show on Viasat, and we want you to be a female host. And I just stood there for a second thinking, why? I thought, Anita. She said, you just call me later, you know, we'll talk. We want you to come and do a screen
It's
test.
not like
and
I
blah, blah,
really
blah.
even gave her a choice. though.
Seriously, went and did the screen test. So all this time, I was so conflicted.
Uh-huh.
Bernard, Viasat,
How we gonna do
Viasat. How are we going to do this? And there was no way to do both because they were both morning.
Yeah.
But that's
Wow.
so Anita was the one who
But
did
isn't
that.
it nice?
Yeah.
Isn't it nice for someone to remember you?
Yeah.
Regardless. I mean,
think that
we're
was-
talking about establishments
Yeah.
in this conversation, but really, we are also talking about human relations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And and the hope that when you wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
somebody somewhere
Yeah.
will remember to call you
Yeah.
if there's an
Yeah, if there's an
opportunity.
opportunity.
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
did that
yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
No,
She
absolutely.
and Amake
Great.
Bebrese at the time was there as well. So
Yes.
Amake.
And I'm just looking
Yeah.
at how full circle we're here
Yes.
today
Yep.
on this
I know.
and having
Yeah.
a conversation.
Yeah.
It's
And-
crazy.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you need to stop and use these moments to acknowledge God's presence.
Yeah.
I
You know,
agree
as in-
completely.
100%.
Completely.
This conversation we're having has a purpose.
Yes.
The moment
Can
I
you
called
imagine?
you on the phone, it had a purpose. When
Yeah.
I met you up
Yeah.
on that building in
Yeah.
Laban, it had a purpose.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't see the future, but
Yeah.
fortunately,
Yeah.
We can
we have
go
this
back and
faith that,
see.
go
Yeah.
back and see and reconnect.
Yeah.
But we have this faith that it's all for a reason.
It
You know what I
is.
mean? And hopefully, if you have kind of nurtured
Yeah.
positive relationships with people, then you can indeed,
Yeah.
look back today and say, hey, remember when we did A,
Remember
B,
when.
C, and
Yeah.
D? And it's priceless.
Yeah.
It
It
really
is
is.
priceless. Relationships are
Now,
priceless.
now you see the photo on the screen.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about
Yeah.
that one, the one where you're a judge.
loved
Biggie King.
it, loved it, loved
So,
it, loved
so
it.
I was watching one day. I was just, I don't know what I was watching. Then suddenly something came on my timeline. I was like, wait, this is First Love Church. I know First Love because that's my church,
Oh,
right?
that's your church?
Yeah. So I was like, what's Anita Erskine doing
we
there?
took
You know,
over.
I was
Listen,
like,
I
and
loved
Tomato
it.
too is there, and Vivian too is
And
there.
they
I'm
didn't
like,
call you.
seriously,
It
what's
is
going
what
on
it
here?
is, baby. It is what. Listen, we had the best time.
Wow.
You know, but
What
like,
was that about? What was going on
you know,
there?
Kokwi mentions Anita called me.
Yeah.
We're talking about sometimes
Yeah.
the ability to be discovered. You know, sometimes the phone is a direct phone call.
Yeah.
Other times it's on stages like, the picture we've just seen. So First Love Church has this annual dancing competition. And I'm very good friends with one of, the choreographers, Mr. Yemi.
Okay.
Because
Yemi.
my daughter goes to Vivi's Dance Factory.
Okay,
So that's
okay.
Vivi Boating. So it's kind of like the whole
And
connection.
Vivi was
So-
here just a couple of
Yes.
weeks
Yes.
ago.
So she was
Yes, she
here.
was here, yeah.
So I go to pick up my daughter, and Mr. Amy is like, this is happening. I'm like, absolutely. I'm a sucker for music, a sucker for dancing, and most importantly, a sucker for telling young talent what they need to do hopefully for that breakthrough.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of a wonderful experience with Joe Metal, Vivi Boating. There was Esma, I forget Esma's last name, and there was
Azigiza.
Azigiza.
Azigiza too was there.
Loved it, yeah. So
Oh,
they
nice.
dance,
Yeah.
we judge, and a lot of the young people don't like to hear the truth. So
Yes.
they're like, boo. And I'm like, no, listen. It's tough love. It's tough. Like, I'm trying to say, it's tough. It's like, boo. And, too much fun. Way too much fun.
Wow. Okay. People are sending a few messages.
Right.
And you can hashtag Breakfast Daily on social media and send to WhatsApp 0550585832. We're having a great conversation. It's more like a catch up with
Yeah,
Anita Erskine
yeah, it is.
this morning. Okay. Someone had a question about the one show.
Yeah.
But the way they've asked the question, okay, so they said, how did you and PY become the hosts of the one show? But it was Jocelyn
So
and
it
PY.
was
but
Jocelyn Duma
Yeah.
and PY,
And PY, yes.
Adebuating.
Yeah.
And when they left, I
It was
became
you, yes.
the host, and I was by myself.
I remember. I remember.
Had a great,
Charlie.
great time.
Those days.
It was one of my favorite shows for years.
Yes.
So
They did
I mean,
so
I
well.
just enjoyed that whole period
yeah,
and then the transition.
You
and
know,
you came
when
on.
that moment of talk show, it wasn't new.
No.
Viasat wasn't the first to do it.
Yeah.
But there was an influx of young people,
Yeah.
and we wanted to talk a certain way, approach conversations and topics a certain way. So it was one of, the content across, the media landscape where young people were beginning to feel, okay, we've got a voice. We can say something without being scolded, that we're too young to say it.
Yeah.
And you heard that on radio as well. You heard it on you saw it on TV. So
Yeah.
it was I would say it was a phase of empowerment
Yeah.
for
For young
the
people.
young people
Yeah.
in the media space. Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. Talking about the question Kweku asked about the skills. And the person says, you see what Anita said? The education syllabus used to have pre-vocational skills and life skills as a subject where we learn, practice, and develop these skills. But unfortunately, the education system has been changed. So
has it been
that
changed?
person-
I've
the
been
curriculum
hearing
has
that
changed
a lot of those things are not there anymore.
Yeah.
But those
Or
things
they're
were
grouped under
fabulous.
an umbrella, so you don't get
the details.
kind of the, like you used to. It's changed a lot.
So the question here, there's a question here. It says, please, how did Anita get to meet Jack Ma for the African Business Heroes production?
Yeah, we call him Uncle Jack. No, I'm just being silly. In November, I got a call from Charter House to host a conference that was being done by the Alibaba Foundation. Of course, you know, Jack Ma is the owner of that foundation, so to speak, and he was and continues to be one of the, I would say, the ambassadors for the Sustainable Development Goals. And you know that His Excellency, the President, you know, of Ghana is the eminent co-chair or the co-chair of eminent, you know, advocates of the Sustainable Development Goals. So coming to Ghana kind of made sense, you know. So I was booked as a host for that event. Thanks very much to Theresa from Charter House. And the relationship started then, you know. So Africa's Business Heroes, of course, you know, kind of looks for entrepreneurs across the continent. And this is where listen, it is timing. 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 There's so many people in Ghana, around the world, who are just as qualified and even more qualified than I am. But it was my time. It was timing. And I just happened to be there. We had a great time. I interviewed Naomi Campbell. It was wonderful. Quite eye-opening. And in the wow is in that moment you're thinking, okay, what do you do with this? And I'm not ashamed of asking for more. Close the door if you like, but I will ask for more. And I asked for more. You know, so after the event, I said, hey, what's up? What else is there, Jack? You know? But yeah, if there are opportunities and you ask, it may just be given to you. So that's where the relationship started with and started from. And I asked for more.
Fantastic.
Somebody's asking something interesting here. It says, I read somewhere you're one of the richest TV hosts and you're worth about 1.5 million. How true is this?
Oh, wow.
I'm sure Google has a lot of stories.
Hold on. Let's pray about this.
Let's sink in. You receive it, eh?
Amen.
Charlie.
I say amen to that. I won't even argue it.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not, it's not my place.
Yeah.
To remove what God has
That's
planned
already-
in
That's
my
his
life.
Yeah.
That is
Thanks
all.
for the message.
Yeah.
I will say to the person, I won't argue it.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
So,
Okay, Beatrice and Tema says, hi, Cookie and David. I've admired Anita since she was a host on Mentor on TV3. She's spectacular. Charlie, you talk to us about the media houses. So you did TV3.
I did TV3,
Mentor.
TV3 Mentor and Looking for Love on TV3. I did Metro TV is where
Music?
I started. No, I didn't do music. That was Stacey and Bula at the time. Metro TV was before all of this.
All of that.
Yeah, Metro TV, I was a teenager, really, bold and beautiful. And then I came to Viasat.
Yep.
And then I forayed into GH1 EIB.
Yes.
And yeah, that's where the buck
so
started.
the only place you have not been is City.
Because
With you.
some men's wouldn't hire me.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm going to say this live on TV. Some men's, I'm begging you. Where is the CV I sent you in 2002?
Hey.
No, I'm going to
but-
say this.
no, but- no,
Some
but-
men's
no, but-
say,
no,
oh, my sister. No. I applied for work here.
After this interview, I'm
Some
sure
men
he's gonna
at the
rope
right
you into
time.
something.
At the right
No,
time.
Kokwi, stop saying
The
something,
time-
Simon.
the- maybe your
When
time
the
is
right
now
time?
coming.
So if it's the right time,
So
then
it's coming. Don't worry.
I'm looking directly at the camera. I'm looking at you, Samens. Why?
It's coming.
You
Don't
cry.
worry.
You are part of the reason why rejection is a big deal.
Oh, Ajay.
Please, I beg you. These bloggers shouldn't go and say.
You see, next thing you know, headline.
I'm going to hear it. I'm joking. Since you ever rejected me, no,
Can you
no,
imagine it?
no.
But
I
another
didn't come
media
to
house.
City, yeah.
Yes, another media house where you're doing great things now. Should we say it's a media house? Yeah, it's Aquaba Magic. DSTV.
yes,
Even
yeah.
though you've worked with Mnet in the past, you've
Yeah,
been on the continent
yeah,
all over.
yeah.
Let's talk about what you're doing on Aquaba Magic with Dede, with Shiros, of
Yeah.
our time, with
Yeah,
all of that.
Yeah. I have to say thank you to EIB Network, Bola Ray, I have to say a big thank you to the previous owners of Viasat, because when I started, Shiro started really as a small product. You know, a product, not a TV show.
Okay.
A product because I was evolving. And I loved the conversation about women, issues, solutions, growth, leadership, girls in education. I wasn't finding an opportunity in mainstream to have that, like you can't do a morning show and talk only about women.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't work. You can't do a drive time show and talk only about women. It doesn't work. So the year before I joined EIB, I had created Shiro's. Viasat allowed me, and they did very well to give me the platform. When I moved to EIB, after about 6 months or so, I said to Bola, I love this radio show that I have, but it's not enough. It's not enough because there's a yearning. I mean, my heart wants something. I told him about Shiro's, and he said, oh, but it's not a big deal. You know, so I got radio time, I got TV time. It was excellent. And it gave me an opportunity to see what I could do with Shiro's. So I always say Shiro started, you know, by being a product or a byproduct of Anita Erskine. And today it is a full-blown, I would say, commercial entity. It's not a foundation, it's me. Aquaba Magic has picked up from there because, you know, Kennedy, who is the channel head at Aquaba, Kennedy Dinchapa, understands the plight of local producers.
Yes.
Okay.
He gets it. Before him, again, I have to say big thank you to Ansaki. Anne understood, okay? And they understood that there was all this creativity and all the stuff coming out of Ghanaian talent. It had to go somewhere. So Aquaba Magic has become home to most of us who are looking, in addition to what we have in the homegrown space, to what we can have from home, I guess, across the continent. I had Studio 53, you know, prior, and Anne held my hand through it all. Anne, as I called you for Viasat, Anne called me for Studio 53. Okay. Hey, where are you? Hi, good morning, Anne. Please, I just finished my show, man. We're doing audition Tuesday. Come in. I said, yes, please, Anne. Don't be late, oh. My South African people, you know they don't play. You know, and yes, so these are the people who, let's not talk as if our success is because of what we do.
Was in isolation,
It is not.
Yeah.
But somebody sitting somewhere has seen you, acknowledges who you are,
true.
has a genuine desire to raise you from where you are. And that's how we get to where we are right now.
That's it.
So that's it. I mean, so Kennedy said, where's Shiro's going to go? And I said, oh, Ken, not sure yet. So he said, wait, hang on a second. You know, we've still got to go through our, you know, formal preparations and everything for Aquaba Magic. When the time is right, you know, bring it. Let me review it. Let me make sure that it's what we're looking for. And then we take it from there. Stuck to his promise. Here we are now.
That's it.
Wow.
And then you've got Shirley.
Yes.
Shirley from Pomanso.
From Manso.
It's not even like
The Shirley.
I'm not asking you to come to audition because no, I'm not asking you to come to audition. I'm telling you are going to do Diddy. You know, and yeah, Shirley is another person who just said, you know something, you are this kind of person. Don't spoil it by being too afraid to pursue something. What are you afraid of? That it won't work? But we are here, and that's exactly what happened. So showed up as Rama Robertson for Dede, and she has every single moment, every single day. You see the end product, but you don't see Shirley's direction.
Okay.
That is it. You know, so on that day, you know, Rama is angry, and you need to cry, and you need to throw the bottle against the wall. And I'm thinking, and Shirley doesn't give you a moment to say,
let me think about it. Yeah.
okay, action. Huh? It's like, no, stop it.
But you embody it so well. As you said, we see the end product.
You see the end product.
Yeah.
You don't see the people.
Which
that
means
have
she
to,
recognizes that, oh, you can handle it. It's a role
There's
that
a team of
it's
people.
made for you.
There's a team of people, and there's a team of people. You know, people will call you. Miss Lee will call and say, "Oh, Anita, there's a new role, Yellow Pepe. Anita, there's, you know, we want." There are people. There's an infrastructure.
Yeah.
And the infrastructure is not just iron bars and concrete. It's human beings who are really interested in having you play a part in their big dream.
Yeah.
And if you get that call, it's
Take
a
it.
blessing.
It really is a blessing.
It's a blessing.
We've got something on Dede for us to watch, so take a look at this.
Because eventually one of them will become CEO and the other would have to succumb to his or her authority.
Do you know something I don't?
Let them go. I'll stay. I'll call the court and have the order rescinded.
This is about the third time you're calling me a fool. This is bullshit. Why aren't we calling his bluff?
Well, because he has a gun.
So, who is Rama Robertson, your character?
Rama Robertson. I can't see it. Don't say it. Messed up woman. But powerful.
Okay.
She's got this family that is boiling in controversy. And it's a dynamic, painful experience for Rama because she's got to cover it all up. She has this marriage that, quite frankly, even my mother says, "Na Rama put, na demi Johnny, oh you never yet dead, demi Tasika, oh Johnny, oh yeah."
I just hear them, please, your husband.
Yes, so David
Lovely
Donto.
Sorry,
David
yes.
Donto.
David Donto
plays
yes.
my husband.
I love that.
Oh my goodness.
I love that
And
they brought him back for this.
And
Like,
I love that. There is something happening in Ghana. If you pay attention, you'll catch it. The old is learning how to be new through the new.
Yes.
And the new is learning how to be ready for when they become old. It's happening.
Yeah. And I think
love
it's
it.
such an important,
Can't get it anywhere else.
collision.
Yes.
Of,
You won't
know,
get it in school. You won't get it from a
yeah.
book. You won't get it from the internet. You will only get it from that physical connection. So David shows up and he tells us stories of, and we laugh about it. But genuinely, it's being able to kind of see what Ghana used to be. And hopefully these kinds of stories and this experience prepares you for where you need to go. I always say, unfortunately, if you look at our veterans and what seems to be, quote unquote, a plight, unfortunately for them, but fortunately for us, we learn how to navigate. Unfortunately for them,
they didn't
catch
have
it.
that.
They didn't have even these conversations, access to resources.
I mean,
It's wonderful. Like what, like you're saying, it's almost like a resurgence of the old school, which is important because we discard of people very easily here sometimes.
Yes.
And that kind of talent, it's not that way in Nigeria. They, I think, use a lot of their older stars more.
But
and
you see,
I like that we're doing that as well now, bringing them back into the fold and appreciating their talent because they're well trained.
I think it's a new day for Ghana.
It's beautiful.
Because there's something you said earlier. You said it's not iron bars, concrete and all that. It's human beings. You see, and I think that for the longest time, what we've not done well is to make use of the human beings who are the institution. Because when we say institutional memory, we don't actually, it's like we are not doing anything with the institution of humans. You know, we've done, yes, the big infrastructure, the superstructures are there. But what about the humans? And I think that's what you're referring to. It's a new day in Ghanaian discourse.
Where do you learn? Where do you learn history? Where do you learn your history? If you think about it, where do you learn your history? Perhaps in the classroom, in a book. But every one of us has had an older person. If not on our compound, but we never ask them.
We don't.
What was Ghana like in 1945? But they lived it. Whether they're formally educated or not, they were there. But we never asked them. So now we are in a space with, a fine blend of foreigners, returnees, all of that. And the people who should be custodians of the information, which should be us, is not possible because we never asked.
We don't even know.
We don't even know. And then we let the older people slip away. We cultivate our own culture, and rightly so, because we've got to rediscover, or we've got to discover ourselves and do things our way. But history is a powerful resource.
Very, very.
Nobody can tell you more about what life was like in Ghana than
those who lived it.
People who lived it. And it doesn't have to be 1930 something. No. So I'm just saying, David Donto, who can really tell you, listen, these are the kinds of challenges we had in the 70s and the 80s. Yes, technology has given us different kinds of opportunities, but nothing exists in isolation.
No.
So if you listen through one ear, you don't let it go through the other ear.
Yeah.
You kind of like blend it with what you know
Yeah.
or the skills and the resources you have, and you are all the better for it.
Yeah.
If we would only see the value of the older generation and not let them slip away and say, that's how it used to be done.
Yeah.
But at least grab the wisdom in their head
Yeah.
and then blend, we would be all the better for it.
Yeah.
But hey, even I that I'm saying this, I'm learning the importance of having a conversation with an older person. You know, and hoping that I don't get caught with new technology, new
Yeah.
this, new that, to forget, why am I here? I'm here because there's a foundation that
Yeah.
my great-grandfathers
Others
laid.
have laid.
Yes.
Others have laid. And
But I don't even know their story.
Yeah.
I know the story of my father. May his soul rest in peace. But that's not enough. You know, and so we need to do so much more
So much more.
and involve the people who you don't necessarily have to force them, or you don't have to do things the way they used to.
Yeah.
But knowledge is power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just
Came
acquire the
from
knowledge.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Anita, you sing. Yes, you do. Why, but you do.
Why are you looking at me? We all know
And
you sing.
We know you sing.
Yeah.
And we're curious as to whether or not you're going to be embarking on any musical projects in the near future to add to your impressive resume of accomplishments.
Yes.
And I know you did, yes. There was a time you did a compilation or an
Yeah.
album with different
Yeah.
performers, right? Different
Yes.
women. Or
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up with music for you?
I feared music for a very long time.
Really?
Yeah. I
Why?
mean, the music industry requires commitment,
Show enough.
a dedication like you have never had it, discipline, a focus that is very selfish. If you want to do music, you need a focus that is so sharp it can cut the air,
Yep.
and the ability to build an infrastructure. And then the infrastructure comprises people who may know more than you, or whose innate desire for success is at par with yours.
You said it all. It's just serious.
And I didn't have the courage to align all those things. I didn't have the courage. I
But
didn't.
How different is that from, for instance, what you've built with Shiro's? Because for all the things you've mentioned,
Perfect
similar-
question.
similar
So you see,
requirements.
Koki, that's the thing about evolution, and that's the thing about maturity. The older you get, the wiser you become. So then you say, but the things you're
Yeah.
afraid of,
Yeah.
you've already
You've
done.
already
And that's
done
who,
them, yeah.
that's, listen, it's the same thing with acting. So if I met an acting teacher or one of my theater teachers in high school, they would say, you used to act too. What are you doing about it?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So, and I also believe in doing things in stages. So that's why I take my time. A lot of people don't like that because they want what they
Quickly,
want today.
no,
I
yeah.
say, as long as by God's grace, I've woken up, I'm breathing. I have another day to strategize and to put something into motion. I use the same strategy for acting. When the time came, and by God's grace, I was surrounded by the people whose desire to see me thrive is at par with my own desire to thrive. Shirley, Kennedy, whatever, then I knew it's time to strike. So
Yes.
music is the same. Although I'm not sure that I will be a mainstream artist.
Okay.
Because the ability to be a mainstream artist also means the ability to focus on the one thing. But I think I would like to continue exploring the plethora of things I do. So I will do music, and I will do music at the level of sheer interest. And if whatever kind of music I create intrigues a listener, intrigues an audience, then I'll do it just for that audience. And then we'll see where it goes.
Where it goes from there. Okay.
Fascinating.
You also give back quite a bit, and especially when it comes to women, girls, you have a very strong focus there. So should we take a look at something you're doing for gender initiatives? Yes. Okay, so here we are.
My
Lisa, what are we
girls.
watching?
My
here?
girls,
You're-
how take the selfie. My girls make me look and feel young.
I love that.
The STEM Woman Project, and that's with Patricia Bonai, who also gives a lot of her time to helping young girls discover or kind of like mold their passion for STEM. And this was at the University of, there's at KNUST.
Okay.
My co-founder, Richmond, you can see him in the suit right next to me, Radcom. Actually, he came up with the idea,
okay.
yes, he came up with the idea and said, you know what, shall we do something around STEM? Because it's the conversation of the day.
Yeah.
And also, when you say girls' education, can I please help you to find focus for what it is? I mean, when you say girls' education, it's so broad.
very broad.
So, let's create an organization called the STEM Women Project. And every year, let's take women in STEM. So I am not the owner of the conversation.
Okay.
I am the conveyor.
Okay.
And so I bring the audience into the same room with the powers, so to speak, that know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm right in the middle.
Make it happen.
So I will bring girls from different parts of the continent, different parts of the country, into the room where they can see the women who actually lead.
Yeah.
So Patricia Obunai, CEO of Vodafone, is one of them. I've had so many women, Regina Honu.
Oh, yes,
I've had so many women in the STEM space
Yeah.
who have said, absolutely, where is it we're going to go? Tamale, Kumasi. And they show up to talk to these girls. So I'm just in the middle, helping these girls, having a conversation with these women, facilitate so
Yeah.
that, hey, they can find
Brilliant.
their way.
Very nice.
Brilliant.
What's next for AE Media?
I don't know. Maybe I'll take David away from City TV.
That would be
David-
interesting.
David,
you
you know.
have a
You
hard
think
time
Simmons- you
doing
think
that.
Simmons
He's
will be-
very, he's
You
very.
think Simmons will be angry with me
He
saying
has
that
a
just like
very-
I took Kokui already?
He
I
has
mean,
a very
we know how great he
strong
is.
grip.
Every time Anita
Yeah.
comes
He has a
around.
very
Really,
strong
eh?
grip on me.
Simmons and me, who's stronger?
Hey.
I know he's taller, he's bigger, he's more powerful, but I mean, come
I'm
on.
not sure we can debate that. Not here.
But the answer to that, Anita Erskine Media has evolved for me. It changed as I was changing. As various media platforms gave me the opportunity to discover myself, so was I also looking at where I was going to take this discovery from. Women don't talk about when they, or human beings generally, we don't talk about when we outgrow something. I knew when my time was coming to leave the traditional media space. I knew it. Not because I didn't love it, but Anita was changing. And I didn't want to be under anyone's roof, a changed person, so that you would see that my attitude had changed. I always say it. So when I felt the change coming.
Yeah.
I loved being at EIB, the change was coming. I loved being an advisor, the change was coming. So when I feel the change coming, I thank God that I'm really in tune with my intuition and my soul enough to feel that, okay, but don't burn your bridges. And take these people along with you because they've made who you are. So Anita Erskine Media started the moment I left EIB.
Yeah.
I needed to tell a kind of story. I needed to develop a kind of style of storytelling. Traditional media wasn't ready for it, whether I like it or not. They weren't ready for it, but they said, no, come, bring it over. But I knew, and I'm like, what I want to do, you're not really ready for it. So today, our focus really is on developing homegrown African content. Specialities are, talk show formats, reality TV formats. Yes, stick with what we know. And then we do a lot of communications consulting as well. Because I have two homes, one in Accra, one in Toronto, so to speak. It also allows me the ability to have a cross, cultural conversation. So our focus really is in the two countries, and then of course people of African descent, Africans or Africans living on the continent, or non-Africans who have passion for Africa, and telling different kinds of stories around these people.
Fantastic.
Wow.
I know we could talk.
Conversation.
We could talk
Yeah,
all,
yeah, we
I
could
feel like Simmons is going to send a message and say, hey guys,
Time is up.
or Bernard, is it Bernard? Who's the CEO now?
Bernard
It's
too.
Bernard. Oh,
All of the
I feel like
above.
they're going to say, please, your time is
Your
up.
time is up.
You know?
Yeah.
But I also have to say, you know what, Bernard, nice
Yeah.
guy, man.
Oh yeah.
Sweet guy.
Oh yeah.
But Bernard, he's like strict, huh?
Very
Very
no,
disciplined.
it's discipline. Yeah.
disciplined,
Very
eh?
disciplined. Yeah.
Because when I greet him, he says, "Hello, Miss Erskine." So I was so flat. I was like, "Oh, hi, Bernard." Hello, Miss Erskine.
Oh God.
You know, because I've met him a few times.
Really?
I don't.
And
you know, I've met him a few times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just
No, Bernard is Bernard.
Bernard is Bernard,
like,
but once it will take him like 2 minutes
so,
with you to.
Yeah.
So I think there's.
So what's the
I
deal
think,
with
I think
Bernard?
there's
though?
Bernard and then there's Bernard.
Okay, so
So when he
so
puts
who
on
did I
the
talk
Bernard,
to?
no,
Yeah.
Bernard is the chill.
Yeah, so, okay,
You know, easy.
'cause
But
then-
when he does his Bernard, then that
Okay.
one is
yeah.
Hello,
I was like,
Mrs.
oh,
Skin.
congratulations, bro. Thank you. Oh, happy birthday. Thank you.
Bernard is the coolest person you could ever.
I've
And
heard.
and I know it's just that
Listen,
again
I'm
the
gonna say
icebreaker
this.
thing. Boom.
When a client calls
Yeah.
Yes.
and they say, so we're looking at a moderator, you know,
Yes.
MC, whatever. I'm waiting for the two names. Oh, we've spoken to Jerry. I said, oh, my brother Jerry.
Yeah.
I've spoken to Bernard. Oh, I know Bernard. And they always come back. Do you know Bernard? What can you tell us about Bernard?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, he's a wonderful person. It's like, oh, so he's your friend. Oh, no, he's not my friend. But when you're put in the same pool as Bernard Affley, you feel like, I am somebody. You know? So big shout out to you, Bernard. Big
Yes.
shout out to you.
He's
for all
probably
that
watching
you
in the
do.
radio studio. He can't hear you,
Yeah.
but he'll
But he's
probably
watching.
see. So
Yeah.
and someone will
Yeah.
tell him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all right.
He'll find it
Yeah.
hilarious.
Send him my love.
He'll find it so funny. I'm sure as you leave. Are you leaving right away? Because you might see him
Yeah.
around, and
Yeah.
he'll have a good laugh about it.
But my CV is ready though.
It's been ready.
Bro, every day I update it, knowing today. So when your producer Angela called, I said, this CV. What was the last
chance.
I'm just joking.
You're like,
I'm
this
being
is my
silly.
chance.
But this is
finally.
wonderful. It's
No,
been
this is
wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you, guys.
joining us.
Anita, you're
It's been-
amazing.
It's been
I mean,
great catching up.
I
Absolutely,
know.
guys.
Yeah.
And
I'm
well
catching
done. I
Thank
can't
you,
imagine
and well done to you.
how easy it is to wake up every morning and
You know already.
make Ghana, excited about the day. You guys do it fun. I could never do what you do.
Well,
It's,
No, I
it's
couldn't.
not easy.
I couldn't. And I
think-
hats off to you guys.
well, thank you. But I mean, as much as we do what we do, I'm sure passion drives you and passion drives us.
Yeah,
So,
passion drives me to start my day at 9 a.m. bro.
You see,
Yeah.
That's the thing.
But the passion that drives you guys to start your day at what? 6 a.m.?
Yeah.
I'm like, Charlie, I want to be like Kofi and
commitment,
David when I
man.
grow up.
I know.
But no, I have to say, a lot of people will not say it, but you will bring light and life, into my home early in the morning. And I'm always like, hey, Charlie, how do they do it? So well done.
thank the Lord.
Thank you. Thank you very much. for
Anita, you're
being with us.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Amazing.
you.
Amazing
Always great to
conversation.
see you. And yeah, we need
Pleasure.
to do this again over some drinks and food.
Yeah. There's a place in Usu. We'll go.
We'll do it properly.
Laban.
We'll do it
Yeah,
properly.
no, Usu.
Challenge.
All right.